Welcome to the Visegrad Insights video recap of the most important topics from the Visegrad Group countries. My name is Aga and I will guide you through this episode of the Voices of Visegrad. In this episode we will cover the upcoming parliamentary elections in Czechia, Karol Nawrocki's first days as a Polish president and sharpening anti-Ukrainian rhetoric, rising societal divisions and radicalisation in Slovakia, and last but not least, Hungary, which took over the Visegrad Group presidency. So, let's begin.
In the Czech Republic, we expect the unexpected. The upcoming elections on October 3 and 4 will bring back to power Mr. Andrej Babiš and a populist ANO party. This is very much an outcome of a scandal, a corruption scandal that happened over the summer to the ODS ruling party. Now, Mr. Babiš and ANO party are winning by 30% in the polls. The numbers from the polls show how deeply divided the Czech politics is, with two blocs further pulling apart.
Hello, Zagreb. Today we're here to check some of the vibes prior to the parliamentary elections. So far, we experts were quite convinced that it would be Mr. Babiš and his populist party to win those elections. But more and more, it's unclear whether he will be able to form their coalition. The number of parties in the race is growing. The number of people who are undecided whom they vote on October 3 and 4 is also growing. This is over 30% now. So I asked a few of our colleagues and fellows to explain this situation to me, tell me what we can expect, who will win, and what consequences that decision will have for the Czech Republic.
What can we expect by the upcoming elections here in the Czech Republic? They are very soon. What outcomes there might be?
So actually in the Association for International Affairs we outlined four potential scenarios of the result of the Czech upcoming parliamentary elections that are taking place on the 1st and 4th of October. And actually these include a different constellation, the former ruling party of Andrej Babiš actually taking over once again. So this actually includes ANO in different constellation, be that with some of the political extremes, representatives of the current ruling party government, or a mixture of those, maybe with some experts actually upgraded to the government level. So there are different variants of that, but unfortunately we see that there will be potentially more change than the continuity in terms of being looking at the big things, especially for Ukraine, Russia. There is a strong pushback against the current politics, which is often identified as activistic, too much value-driven. So on very important issues, there might be a lot of actually change depending on the level of extreme parties' involvement in coalition government agreement, which is most likely the outcome and expectation what might be coming next. Of course, there are ways and means actually to mitigate and also deal with this with a strong societal consensus, role of the other institutions, including presidential office. But of course, there are many question marks. So that's my expectation. More generally, of course, we will see, and every seat will be finally counted because we see that Czech politics has been very fragmented. It might be the case that it will be many more parties actually represented in the upcoming parliament. We see that beyond the 6 to 7 parties that we have now, it can be in two particle sort of blocks, the extreme right, extreme left. There might be many more parties, a lot of fragmentation, and potentially a lot of division also. So that's also something to be watched by observers, including from Visegrad Insight.
And now, let's move to our podcast to hear more about the Bitcoin scandal in Czechia.
You had this incredible scandal where the Minister of Justice, Blažek, it was revealed that he received this 40 million euro Bitcoin donation from a convicted online drug dealer in secret. And not just this, but the fact that, Petr Fiala has kind of defended him and said, actually, he's a really great minister. This stuff doesn't matter as much. And then the finance minister too, Zbigniew Stanjura, saying, well, yeah, I knew about this as well, and I just wasn't able to talk him out of it. He was just too important in this cabinet, in this team. So as a result of this, there's this real sense of, of deception, corruption, And, major calls from the opposition, including the opposition ANO party of, ex-Prime Minister Andrej Babiš, who is very likely to win the elections in the autumn, essentially calling for these people to step down and resign. And so hence you get this vote of confidence idea. Now, if there is this no confidence vote, it's probably going to fail because the coalition is staying together. The centrist mayors and independents have agreed they won't leave the cabinet, just 4 months before the election. But it really, it feels like one of those final, last straw for this government.
Poland has a new president. Mr. Karol Nawrocki is 1 month old, but already quite well known around the world. This is not only because of his trip to Mr. Trump to the White House or to the Vatican, but also because of the decision that he has taken in Poland to veto some of the important decisions by the government that have international influence. Most importantly, he vetoed a decision that was prolonging the preferential status of Ukrainian refugees in Poland, access to social benefits, or to work permits.
To unpack what this means, let's now turn to our Visegrad Insight Fellows, Bart Wieliński, Deputy Editor-in-Chief of Gazeta Wyborcza, and Krzysztof Izdebski from the Stefan Batory Foundation.
He's from nowhere. His agenda is mostly hidden. We don't know who he works with. That is a great mystery of days following months and weeks and months. How this new constellation on the right would get along with itself.
And finally, what does Nawrocki mean for PIS? They backed him in the election, but he isn't a PIS man, so to speak. Should they be worried that he will have his own agenda, maybe a more far-right one, for example, combined with the Konfederacja party?
Oh, definitely. I mean, one of the interesting parts of Karol Nawrocki's career is that we don't really know him too much. For sure, he is the one who is leaning towards Konfederacja, so he's representative of the more rather than less right wing wing of the law and justice, and it would be quite reasonable for him to try to get into the discussions of with Konfederacja.
For more insights, also check out our recent podcast episode. Is Tusk's government ready for Nawrocki?
We can see more and more tensions in Poland with the so-called cohabitation, meaning the relationship of the president and with the government, with the prime minister and ministers as such. This is mostly visible in foreign affairs. Minister Sikorski is underlining that the foreign policy in Poland, by the constitution, is done by the government, while the president and his office wants to make as much room for himself as possible.
Hey there! Let's pause on the Polish politics for a second. If you're enjoying this video, why not join us with a Visegrad Insight subscription? It unlocks all our online content and gets you into our online events. Plus, a special treat for your listeners. Head to visegradinsight.eu, choose a yearly subscription, and apply code Visegrad25 to enjoy your 25% discount.
And now, we head to Slovakia to look into how Prime Minister Fico is using anti-Ukrainian narratives to strengthen his position. This will be commented by Domitian Zahorian, a hybrid threats analyst from Slovakia.
After the full-scale invasion of Russia against Ukraine, the Slovak government actively supported Ukraine and Ukrainians. This topic of hatred against Ukrainians was misused before the elections in 2023, where current government actively fueled this hatred and misused the topic for political gain. Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico is currently using the language that European Union is supporting Ukrainians at the expense of Slovaks and is hurting Slovak national interests. These topics will be again misused in the future in times of crisis in Slovakia or in times of elections. So we can expect
this topic to come back and be artificially fueled by the current government again.
We also had similarly inflammatory remarks from Robert Fico in Slovakia, who was on holiday in Croatia. And this really sparked harsh backlash from the Ukrainian MFA. Fico was alleging that the West is basically using Ukraine in this unsuccessful attempt to weaken Russia. He said that Ukraine's NATO membership is impossible. He said that the conflict would have ended in April 2022 if there wasn't Western political interference. So a lot of very inflammatory remarks, echoing Russian disinformation. And then Kiev responded saying, these statements insult the memories of those that were killed. And Fico is basically disregarding the causes of Russia's full-scale invasion. So a real escalation, I think, there in harsh bilateral relations between Ukraine and Slovakia.
And now, let's turn to Eva Michošková to hear more about Slovakia.
Slovakia is cracking under deep divisions, and it's not just its own problem. Deep polarization is spreading fast across the whole region. However, according to new data, Slovakia is one of Europe's most polarized societies, with radicalisation, mistrust, and democratic fatigue spreading fast. But here's the real danger. What's happening in Slovakia today could be Europe's reality tomorrow. This is more than politics. It's a warning sign for the entire EU. Check out my latest article on Visegrad Insight.
And now to Hungary, which has taken over the Visegrad Group presidency. Let's hear from Visegrad Insight's Wojciech Przybylski and Staś Kaleta as they discuss what this could mean.
Viktor Orban did not decide to share the program of the upcoming presidency that starts tomorrow. And the other capitals are kept in the dark. We don't know about Bratislava that much. Maybe this program has been shared or consulted with Bratislava, but for sure there was no intentional consultation with Warsaw or Prague. And the worries are that it is going to be utilized, as we write, it's going to be utilized as a banner for promoting other version of Europe. The other version that would oppose the direction of for Europe, promoted and championed by Poland, which we brand Europe's power, or Europe power, merging values and defense, security.
So I think the reaction was very much positive from other capitals and from leaders. You had, Council President Antonio Costa and Commission President Ursula von der Leyen congratulating Donald Tusk at this UCO summit last week, saying, you achieved what you set out to do, this secure Europe, this power Europe, as you phrased it, and making this a priority. So, I mean, we saw lots of things, maybe not necessarily start, but, agreed upon or begin working on during the presidency: the SAFE mechanism, the REARM program, the white paper on defense, preparedness, lots of other things like, borders, Baltic Sea, the East Shield, and also Poland was the first country to use cohesion funds for defense, or to be allowed to do that from, I think, 2026.
The Visegrad cooperation has been lacking dynamism and clear goals for a long time already, but especially since the full-scale invasion of Ukraine by Russia, we have also seen a reduction of the V4 cooperation to a practical sectoral level, with political action really missing from the group. I believe that as long as the Hungarian-Polish relations remain cold, it is hard to expect that the V4 cooperation as such can be filled with substance again. Of course, the practical sectoral cooperation will continue, and this is what I expect to see under the Hungarian V4 presidency as well. The priorities set as competitiveness, security, and connectivity in fact signal this intention to continue the practical cooperation, but we should not expect a breakthrough in the coming 1 year in this regional format either.
And that's a wrap for today on the Voices of Visegrad. If you enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you in the next episode. This series is produced in cooperation with our partners. the Bratislava Policy Institute from Slovakia, European from Czech Republic, and the Hungarian Europe Society. Thanks for watching, I will see you soon.